Okay, I think it's working. Okay. I hate this. In what way has the swine unit changed over the last 5 years?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. The Cal Poly Swine Unit has gone through a plethora of changes within the last 5 years. So Mr. Lee Rinker recently, 5 years ago, brought in show pigs to the unit. And so these show pigs obviously were much different than the commercial pigs that they had at the very beginning. These show pigs could be marketed not only to California, but to places like Illinois and Iowa and even Texas. And so he brought in show pigs around 5 years ago. Again, just kind of a change in trends from what our operation used to be. And so today we have mostly show pigs at our operation. We focus on breeding for different traits rather than the commercial world. We actually have had the chance to get the 3rd overall barrow at the Houston Rodeo and Livestock Show, which is about a 1,500 head barrow show. So it's pretty cool that we had a barrow. We raised a barrow that got 3rd place overall. And Lee's definitely very proud of that. So since Lee's left, we've been through a couple of changes just this last year. So we still have our show pigs. This year, we actually got a donation of 60 commercial gilts from New Fashion Pork in Indiana. And so New Fashion Pork donated these gilts for mostly research purposes, but we'll raise them up here at the unit. They've gotten pretty acclimated, and we just started breeding them this last week. So we'll have piglets from them in August. And then they'll be used again, like I said, for research purposes. And it's going to be really nice for when I teach labs and the swine production class that we'll have plenty of piglets for my students to interact with. So those are some of the major changes as far as pig goes. Obviously, facilities-wise, we haven't had a lot done other than a new gestation barn that was built around 3 years ago and is finally being utilized to its fullest potential.
So before Lee, it was strictly commercial pigs up at the unit?
Yep, correct. They came from Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. So due to the recent virus, how has this affected the unit in terms of business?
Yeah, in terms of business, we were pretty lucky. So we sell a lot of show pigs for fairs like Mid-State and the California State Fair that happen in June and July. And so we were really lucky. About 2 weeks before everything really happened and the lockdown happened, we sold the majority of our pigs. And so we got really lucky as far as that goes. As far as our pig sales now for fairs in September and October, we're seeing a little bit of a hit. Obviously, people are prioritizing other things as fairs get canceled. But one really cool thing that's been kind of a blessing for us is these virtual stock shows that have popped up. And so kids still are interested in buying show pigs, which helps our business, right? But at the end of the day, these kids still get to raise up a project pig and experience the whole thing and then go to a virtual show. Again, not the same experience, but it's cool that they're holding these in place of that. So as far as business goes, we haven't seen a dramatic effect right now. As far as the market goes, we are having a tough time with that, trying to sell cull pigs or pigs that we culled from our herd. The market prices are really down right now, which obviously is across the whole livestock industry, from the cattle side of things all the way to even the poultry side. So I think we'll see some long-term effects that affect us. Hopefully, I won't have to do any cutting back on breeding. Hopefully, we'll be able to breed for a heavy season of show pigs, and hopefully it'll pick right back up.
And then have you seen it affect the employees at all?
Yeah, huge change for us. So we lost about half of our workforce. Don't get me wrong, we're not a huge workforce, but a couple of our employees opted to go home, which they had the option to. And so we have one full-time student manager here, and then we have a part-timer, and then we have 2 feed mill employees that have stepped up and have really helped us out at the swine unit. So it has changed a lot as far as protocols go as well, making sure that things are disinfected and cleaned, and making sure that we are abiding by the social distancing, for sure.
So then can you explain to me a little bit about your position up at the swine unit?
Yeah, so I am in charge of kind of the day-to-day operations. So I manage the employees, and I also make sure that things are just running smoothly. After Lee left, Brian Larson was made the supervisor. He kind of oversees things on a supervisor role, but as far as day-to-day operations go, I oversee the pigs, make sure that things are done when they need to get done, and also oversee the employees.
And then with that, what are some day-to-day challenges you face working/managing kids at the unit?
Yeah, challenges. I think the biggest thing is learning how to manage people, right? I can teach people how to feed pigs really easily, but teaching them how to care is something I can't do. And so it's where it really comes from within them. So we've had the opportunity to train a lot of people that go on to love pigs, but it might not be the first thing they ever thought about. And so making sure that employees are always on time is always a stressor, right? Making sure that even though this is kind of a low-key job, at the end of the day, it kind of shows you your character as you do it. So some day-to-day challenges, just making sure, number one, that pigs are taken care of, right, and not just fed. I always tell my employees they won't have a job very long if they just simply go in and throw the sow's feed without checking the piglets, and so on and so forth. And so I think that making sure that those pigs are taken care of and just teaching them how to observe pigs, pig behavior, right, if something doesn't feel good, if the ears are down, it really helps if they've taken the swine class or have any livestock background. But again, if they don't, which some don't, it's kind of harder to teach them from the beginning, but they usually catch on pretty quick. So making sure that they're doing their daily observations are really important. And also just managing people, right? We all know it's kind of the hardest part, right? It's not managing the pigs. I could do that all day by myself, but teaching other people how to do it and letting them have the same experience that I did is something that I really pride myself on.
And then what are some struggles that you deal with the pigs from day to day?
Yeah, so some of the struggles we face here, number one right now is kind of just space. With the addition of those 60 gilts, we are kind of tight on space. And so making sure that my pigs are acclimated to whatever environment they're going into. Pigs are very temperature sensitive, so making sure I have enough barn space, making sure it's at the right temperature. Keeping an eye on the other units, right? Making sure we're not being told to stop breeding or kind of stop because of everything going on with COVID-19. And health challenges are always one thing that we talk about, right? But we're pretty lucky to have a pretty high health herd status. We work really closely with our vets here. So as far as pig challenges go, I'd say space and facilities would be kind of the only thing we really see.
And then what's your livestock background?
Yeah, so I grew up a goat girl. I was born and raised in Bakersfield, California. Started showing goats when I was younger. My parents met in 4-H. That was kind of obviously known I was going to do it. I started my own breeding herd when I was around 13 and kept doing that throughout high school. And then after high school, I went to Bakersfield College to get my AA in animal science under Mr. Billy Barnes, who's a big pig guy over there. But still wasn't interested in pigs, still loved goats. I came to Cal Poly in 2016 as a transfer and took the swine production class and really fell in love. So after that, I had the chance to be the manager my senior year up here and really loved it. I had the chance to intern for the National Pork Board and live in Iowa that summer and then come back as a graduate student to start studying meat science. They are coming from goat to pig. I mean, there's a lot of differences, obviously. But I think at the end of the day, just having a passion for both of them has helped me. And there are some parallels between them. So now getting my master's in animal science, studying meat science, and hope to continue and stay here as full-time staff.
So 5 years ago, would you have pictured yourself in this position at all?
I would say no way, Jose. No way. I think 5 years ago, I probably would have said I was going to go to Fresno or go to another ag college, to be honest. Cal Poly wasn't really my solid 100% choice, but obviously it's done me pretty well here. So I'd say, yeah, no way would I thought I'd be working with pigs, let alone be on the Central Coast.
And then where do you see the future goals of the swine unit going in the next few years?
Yeah, I see us still continuing to sell pigs to the public. I think that's our biggest thing is not only being able to teach our students about pigs, but being able to teach the public, right? We have 4-H tours. We have multiple gatherings throughout the year, whether that's showmanship clinics or feed clinics. We try to really stay involved in the community and let them know that we're a local source for show pigs, right? They don't have to go all the way to Illinois to get a good quality pig. So I think that's one thing that we hope for. Another thing we hope for with these new commercial pigs, not only from a research standpoint, but from a market standpoint, would be to hopefully grow them out and sell more Cal Poly pork. So we have a meat processing facility on campus, which is super nice. So just, again, making everything kind of full circle would be really neat in the end, and kind of get into a whole different market with those other hogs that we could use.
All right. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you for the question. I enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you so much, Morgan.